In today's video, we're going to discuss 9 things about Paulo Costa and 1 opinion from his opponent, Israel, the Last StyleBender, Adesanya. And we're starting right now. What's up, fight fans? This is the Pro Fight Fan, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, and you're a fight fan, and you enjoy discussing all things fighting, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to rear naked choke that like button, and make sure to hit that notification bell. Number 1, Paulo Costa was born on April 21st, 1991 in Contagem, Brazil. We know a lot of great fighters have come from Brazil, including Royce Gracie, Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, to name a few. And now we're witnessing another contender on the rise, Paulo. Now take it easy. I am not saying that Paulo has reached the heights of the sports like the others named, but soon we'll see if he can reach those same heights. Number 2, growing up, Paulo tried playing soccer, which we all know is very popular in Brazil. I think that's illegal. Now, his brother, Carlos Costa, would tell you he stopped playing because he just didn't have any talent. Those are older brothers, I tell you. And at the age of 9, he began training Muay Thai in order to stay out of trouble. What is it with these kids? At first, Mom didn't like the idea, but after a few conversations with Paulo's coaches and observing one of Paulo's training sessions, she was convinced that Muay Thai was helping Paulo Costa redirect his energy to sport as opposed to trouble. Number 3, Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, come on, we all knew this would be inevitable, right? Paulo and his older brother, Carlos, would go on to enroll in Jiu-Jitsu classes as teenagers. Now, Carlos goes on to admit, while his brother may not have been talented enough to play soccer, he certainly excelled in Jiu-Jitsu, and everyone in the gym knew it pretty quickly. Number 4, tragedy strikes. At the age of 17, Paulo's father passed away from throat cancer. Now, this would prove to be very difficult for Paulo, as he would completely stop training in any martial arts that he was involved in. He would spend a lot of his time lifting weights, but seemed lost during this tragic part of his life. Lifting weights, now that probably helps explain his physique. Number 5, during that time Paulo spent away from jiu-jitsu, his brother continued to train and attained a purple belt while becoming an instructor within a couple of years. Now, it was at this time that Paulo decided that he wanted to train again, and Carlos would go on to help him as coach. Now, that's a good big brother. Number 6, Paulo began to compete all the while holding down 2 jobs, one in IT and one as a real estate agent. Now, while he enjoyed working, trying to train and work full-time was taking its toll, and it was at this time that the family came together, Mom, brother, and Paulo, and put together a plan that would help Paulo train full-time. Mom and brother would help to take care of the finances while allowing Paulo to train full-time for 1 full year to see where fighting would end up taking him. I can only imagine trying to convince my mom to work more so I can train fighting full-time.
¿Qué te pasa a ti? ¿Tú estás loco? ¿Tú crees que de verdad yo voy a hacer eso?
But it clearly worked out for them. Now, he better be paying his mama's bills. I mean, not like I would do anything, but anyway. Number 7, the Ultimate Fighter, Brazil. In 2014, after amassing an MMA record of just 3-0, Paulo would go on to compete on Tough Brazil. Now, he would only fight 2 times on the show. He would win the first fight against Jose Roberto by 2nd round submission, and he would lose his 2nd fight to Mauricio Alexandre Jr. Now, of course, losing on the show doesn't reflect on a fighter's professional record, but Paulo would go on to credit the horrible feeling of a loss as motivation to never lose again. Number 8, the struggle of getting into the UFC. Now, one would never know by looking where he is today, but we almost didn't get the eraser in the UFC to begin with. 1, after losing on Tough Brazil, he doesn't get signed to the promotion. And then 2, he goes on to continue fighting, and after his 5th professional fight, which he wins by TKO, he reaches back out to the UFC, and he gets rejected. Need more experience, young man, is what they told him. And number 3, after 8 wins with 8 finishes, Ryzen sends an offer for him to fight in Japan in 2016, and he accepts the offer. But the fight falls through, and he gets all upset because he spent all his money to fly out to Japan and take this next part of his career seriously. So he begins to renegotiate with Ryzen. Just 2 days before he finalizes a deal, the UFC sends over the contract and signs Paulo Costa. Number 9, controversy. After being signed by the UFC, Costa went on to win 4 fights and all by TKO. He was on a tear. And then in 2019, he received a 6-month suspension for prohibited use of an IV way back in 2017. So according to Costa, he didn't even know that he wasn't allowed to use an IV, and the doctor who administered the IV, one Dr. Lucas Penchel, received a 2-year suspension by USADA. On September 26th, Paulo Costa is going to be facing his toughest challenge yet against one Israel, the Last StyleBender Adesanya. His opponent Izzy isn't convinced that Paulo isn't using any banned substances leading up to their fight. In a recent interview with Luke Thomas, Adesanya goes on to say, there was that IV issue he had, but the thing is, I've been to Brazil, and Brazil reminds me a little of my home city, Lagos. And I know how those kind of things work in those kind of countries. I have my own suspicions. I think he tweeted, someone told me he hasn't tested or hasn't been tested in the last, I don't know how long. I got tested. When I talked to him on ESPN, it was 2 times in the last 3 weeks. It was the first time they tested me at night twice. They tried to catch me off guard, but I have nothing to hide. Before the interview with ESPN, I told him, tell me the last time you got tested. And he couldn't give me a clear answer. And I think the guy with the glasses tried to tell him what to say. It is what it is. Like I said, I beat this guy. Like I said, I'm gonna pop him before USADA does. Now, you can make your own conclusions, but we got ourselves a fight on September 26th. Knock on wood. Now, I can't wait. If you're a fight fan, I know you can't wait. September 26th, it's gonna be fireworks. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification bell. This is the Pro Fight Fan, and I'm out.